Alright guys, welcome back, and in this video, now that we got our cloud server set up, now that we can connect with securely using SSH, what we can do is we can just hop into all the fun stuff. We can start installing Apache, MySQL, PHP, Node, all of the reasons that we actually bought this server, we can just jump into and start installing all of those fun services. Now, before we do that, I'm going to make a couple recommendations, and these recommendations are going to make your server a lot more secure. One is you should probably set up and configure a firewall, and two, and this is what we're going to be doing in this video, you should probably change the default SSH port from 22 to something else. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with ports, or maybe you heard the term port before and you aren't really sure what it is, I'll explain it real quick. So whenever you're trying to connect to a server, you need two key pieces of information. The first is the IP address, and the second is the port. Now, the port of a computer isn't something that you can physically see or touch with your hands. It's just built into the software, and it tells the server how you want to connect to it. What are you trying to do to that server? So, for example, whenever you're just online browsing websites, the default port for HTTP is 80. Now, if you ever were browsing a website that used HTTPS, that default port is 443. So we usually don't see this, and it usually always happens behind the scenes, but remember when we first started PuTTY and it said, okay, give me the IP address of the server you're trying to connect to, and by default the port was 22? Well, whenever someone's trying to hack into the server, they know that the default port is 22 already. Now, we don't want them to have that information, so we want to change it to something else, something that we only know. So this is how you do that. So if you go to sudo nano etc, I just call it etc, ssh sshd underscore config, then what we're going to do is we're going to open up this SSH configuration file with our suite editor. Now, of course, gotta type my password and check it out. So these are all of the configuration settings for SSH. Luckily, we don't have to worry about most of this. The only thing that we're concerned about is this right here, this port. So again, the first thing a hacker is going to do if he tries to attack SSH is he's going to try to connect to port 22. So we're going to delete that, and we're going to make that unavailable and just change it to anything like 8888-7777. That's what I'm going to use. Make sure that it's not a standard port for like HTTP or HTTPS or FTP, and just look online to make sure that you're not, overriding one of those. These ports go from 0 to like 65,000 or something, so you're going to have a lot of options to choose from. But anyways, remember what port you wrote down, 7777, and then we can just use Control X to exit. Do we want to save it? Yes. Confirm. Enter. So now whenever we connect to the server again, we have to remember to connect to port 7777. Now before we just close out of this terminal right here, we probably want to test and make sure that it works. And before we even do that, we actually need to restart. So sudo service SSH restart. And after we restart SSH, then our new changes are going to be taken into effect. So again, just minimize this, don't close it yet. Open up PuTTY again and check it out. For droplet 1, whenever we load it, this is the IP address, and since we're connecting through SSH, this is the port. Now watch what happens if I try to use these old settings. I'm going to open, and network error, connection refused. That's what a hacker is going to see. So I'm going to hit OK, open up PuTTY again. I'm just going to load in those, but I'm going to change it to 7777. So now, actually I want to save this again with our new settings and then open it, and it says, okay, this is the first time you're trying to connect to it this way. Just hit yes, and we're going to log in as Bucky. Boom, look at that. We are in without the hacker knowing or having any extra information. Pretty awesome.